Hello again, and I have another guest here. I would like to introduce, or why don't you introduce yourself?
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us, Suresh. Indy Sawhney, Mindtree. I manage Mindtree's banking financial services business in the East Coast. Mindtree is one of the fastest growing IT services firm in the world right now, and we're proud to be a Denodo partner.
Absolutely. I've had the pleasure of working with Indy and his team not just as a partner, but at several joint customers. And I want to start off by asking you, Indy, what Mindtree, we hear a lot about digital and data. Tell us about your strategy in the space of digital and data.
Absolutely. So Mindtree is in the process of, or in the business of actually helping our clients create an asset out of the data that they have, siloed across the various business units, right? Once we are able to do that, we actually help facilitate a digital transformation journey for our clients. Now, that's a hot topic. Every organization is trying to do that. But how do you really go to market in digital transformation for your customers without getting a hold of your data first?
Right.
And that is where Denodo actually comes in, and that is where we like our partnership with you guys.
Absolutely. One of the things we've been hearing from several of the customers speaking at this event, again, for all the people online, we'd love for you to be here next year. But one of the things that's been talked about is that data virtualization is not just for the analytics and BI side of the house, but the logical views that are created, the abstraction, can also be used as RESTful services to power digital transformation through mobile applications, cloud applications. So taking that theme, what are you seeing as sort of some of the key trends as you enable digital and data at your customers?
God, that's a good question. So there are three key trends that we are noticing in the industry right now. One of them is data harnessing, right? So it is all about the big data, trying to use economical hardware storage to collect and store all the data. Then the second one that we're noticing is the machine learning and the deep learning. So that is for your structured data as well as your unstructured data. And finally, artificial intelligence. And what we are noticing is from whether it is a public sector undertaking like Aadhaar card in India, so Mindtree has architected one of the largest data set outside of Facebook, for example.
Okay.
And that was all built on Hadoop, and that was done years ago.
Okay.
And now fast forward to today, right now organizations are starting to understand, storing data is good, big data is good, but how do I get real-time actionable insight? It all goes back to that whole thing. How do I empower the customer 360?
Right.
How do I take digital transformation insights back to my So, that whole progression from data harnessing to artificial intelligence is basically what we're noticing right now.
I think you talked about harnessing also the analytics. So it's analytics doesn't stand alone. You bring that into operational applications like Customer 360, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about, we've been working together at several levels from, deeply at some customers to joint prospecting to partnering at events like this, et cetera. What has been your experience working with Denodo as a partner, as a software company and you as a leading services provider?
Absolutely. So here is what is happening, right? The whole world of data virtualization. In fact, I think one of the panel speakers recently mentioned, right? A lot of organizations are getting out there trying to figure out, what is the ETL platform. That is how they start their decision-making process, right? What are the ETL platforms or solutions out there that would allow me a bird's eye view of all my data? And then they start their Google searches, their Gartners and Forresters, and then they eventually discover, hold on, there is a world of data virtualization, and Denodo definitely is a marquee jewel of that particular segment, if you will. And what we are realizing is the term data warehousing per se at some of our client organizations is a taboo now.
Right.
So organizations don't want to create yet another data warehouse to connect with other data warehouses. Everyone has a system of record. Now they're gearing towards a system of engagement.
Correct.
Now, how do you really go to a system of engagement without having a very clear insight of your data? So it goes back to the whole thing. Denodo comes in, creates a almost like an enterprise service bus of your data.
Right.
And liberates your data so that now you can start to think about business outcomes.
Right. It's reusable. It can be start off in one project and move on to other things. Exactly.
And there is all kind of security already built in, optimization built in. So you're getting really to the source rather than creating all these data warehouses, data lakes, and so on and so on.
Oh, very
So-
good. So, we've talked a lot about the horizontal stuff, but one of, I think, our successes working together has been how we've been able to develop, go-to-market solutions around particular verticals. Now, here I am talking to Indy Sawhney. He leads the financial services BFSI practice for Mindtree. So can you tell us a little bit about sort of the joint go-to-market around governance, risk, compliance that we've been working together on?
Absolutely. So Mindtree has been fortunate to work with a couple of different financial services organizations. And when these organizations were trying to do their GRC, which is regulations and compliance, which is getting to be a very, very complicated topic with very clear mandates and strict mandates actually from the federal government. What Mindtree and Denodo have been able to do is come up with a go-to-market solution framework. And it is readily available. Think of it as a blueprint that actually gets your journey started. So that is one thing. And the other thing that a lot of our banking financial services clients are doing for their digital transformation, they're trying to get to the customer 360 very quickly.
Right.
And for that also we have a solution framework in place.
That's right.
Think of it as a solution escalator, kind of gets you into the market faster, and we are happy to demonstrate that to you.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for, first of all, being at this great event. Probably several of Mindtree customers watching. We'd want them here next year.
Absolutely.
And thanks for sponsoring this event. Once again, thank you, Indy Sawhney, Head of Financial Services for Mindtree.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure to talk
Suresh.
to you. Thank you.
Thanks.